Yesterday, New Zealand was shattered and broken. Remnants of such an event to last us for a very, very long time. Evil came to Christchurch in New Zealand. Horrible, perpetrated filth arrived in New Zealand. Some 2 years ago, walked amongst us, lived amongst us, and orchestrated mass killing of people of New Zealand. The New Zealand Muslim community was targeted. The world saw us. Our people were cut down by semi-powered rifles. Despite requests not to share this graphic image, we saw, we heard, and we read about evil. I will not say too much, but I will reflect on the words of our Prime Minister. And she says, I quote, "We will not slip into fear and hatred. We were not chosen for this act of violence because we condone racism, because we're an enclave for extremism. We were chosen for the very fact that we are none of these things, because we represent diversity, kindness, compassion, a home for those that share our values, a refuge for those who need it. And those values, I can assure you, will not and cannot be shaken by this attack." So thank you so much for coming and out in numbers and supporting us today. And I want to acknowledge some of the speakers. And we are late for Pakiza. I just wanted to welcome the chair of the Khatija Leadership Network that is bringing this support together in a space that we can all call our own in Auckland. So without further ado, Khatija.
Assalamu alaikum whanau, kia ora. I hope that everyone is well. This is a difficult time for all of us collectively, and I understand that we're all in mourning and that we are all feeling shocked by the events that occurred yesterday. But it is so heartening to be standing here and seeing the support. It brings tears to my eyes. And so to begin, in all honesty, today I will not be graceful and I will not be articulate, and for that I apologize in advance, but my heart is broken and I am feeling equal parts of grief and equal parts anger. And I will not apologize for my anger. I will not apologize for the fact that I am angry as we all collectively mourn for the senseless loss of lives. Of families who will never be whole, and a community who will never be the same again. My heart bleeds for Christchurch, and it bleeds for all Muslims here in New Zealand and across the globe. We hoped, we prayed this day would never reach the shores of Aotearoa. But talking to many Muslims across New Zealand, there were many of us who braced ourselves for this. We knew we were not immune. The hateful ideologies that exist in other countries also exist here. It wasn't very long ago that there were 3 women that were attacked in Otago for wearing the hijab. These women were so scared that they didn't even report the incident. It was a bystander who had the courage to do so. We might never be the same again as a country, but we will be, but what will we be as a nation when we come out of this? We have to ask that question of ourselves. The reality is that we have an appalling history of violence in New Zealand and an othering of people of colour. If we just consider, for example, our tangata whenua. We continue that trend through the demonisation of Muslims and our tepid welcome of refugees in this country. There were actually refugees in that mosque in Christchurch who lost their lives. to think that they endured brutal wars to lose their lives here in New Zealand. Muslim communities everywhere live in fear and anxiety, bearing the brunt of the world's anger and wrath. In fact, our organisation, the Khadija Leadership Network, talked about all these issues and more during a conference we held in Auckland last year. And it is absolutely chilling to my core to be standing here today, seeing our fears manifest into reality. So, will we let the fear and the violence divide us? Will we let it define us? Or will we rally together and have the courage to ask hard questions and engage in open dialogue? That is my challenge. This didn't happen in a vacuum. New Zealand is globally connected, and so we are affected, but we can show we are unique in our response to this tragedy. Looking around me today, I am so very hopeful that as a country we will unite in one voice, in one strong voice, and reject the current rhetoric about Muslims, the fierce othering that is occurring across the globe and in New Zealand. It is time we take the lead and change the narrative, change the conversation entirely. This is my call to arms for you, that we as a nation practice tolerance, we practice love. When we see something that's wrong, we call it out. When you see Islamophobia, be brave, don't accept it, call it out. And to end, I will take a leaf out of my late father's book. When our family home in Mount Roskill was vandalised after 9/11, he came out publicly and said he felt sorry for the perpetrator. I echo that sentiment because how sad and how fearful a person must be to resort to something like this, something so heinous and something so disgusting. I will pray for him. I will, and we all should, because for me I know that Allah is all-knowing and Allah is all-forgiving. And there is light and there is love in this world, and nothing will dampen it.
The youth are the future of this country. And we are united when we stand here with the youth. I want to call on Fatoumata Ba, young youth leader.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم malololei talofalava ni hao namaste annyeonghaseyo kia ora. Ko Dolagawi, ko te gadabundu tuku iwi, ko Fulani tuku hapu, ko Mangere tuku maunga, ko Punu Reserve tuku awa, ko Haja Aista tuku mama, ko Alajikaba tuku papa, ko Fatumata aho. Tena koutou, tena koutou, tena koutou katoa. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Our hearts collectively as a nation goes out to our brothers and sisters in Christchurch who are trying to deal with the ramifications of what has happened. Many of us are part of the Islamic community, and those who are not part of the Islamic community, I am sure, are just as confused as I am. I'm sure you are all just as numb as I am. And I'm sure, like me, you all believed that this would never happen in New Zealand. Unfortunately, the events of yesterday was an attempt by a handful of individuals to send a message to the Islamic community, not just in Christchurch, not just in Aotearoa, but all around the world, that they do not belong. It was an attempt to attack the psyche of New Zealand, to attack the values that we hold and that brings us all together. My message today is that if anything, your attack has brought us together. If anything, the individuals surrounded me today, if anything, the individuals who sit to your right, to your left, in front of you, behind you, or standing, all of the phone calls, the text messages from overseas, from within the country, from strangers, as an example for me, that this is only an attempt to divide us and that we will not let it divide us. To my fellow brothers and sisters in Islam today, to the young people who are questioning themselves, who are questioning whether they belong here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, who are fearful, to my heads scarf wearing and hijabi sisters who think twice before they wrap the sacred cloth around their head, I hope that you see what I see. And what I see is a community gathering together, a community standing up, and the volume is so loud, it is deafening. It is greater than the sound of the weapon that was used by the perpetrator yesterday. We will not be scared. We will not be silenced. We will not cower away. We will come out. We will continue to be part of this fabric which we know we are a part of. We don't need you to tell us we don't belong when we know that we do. And I too would just like to echo the sentiments of the Prime Minister in saying that this is not New Zealand and that we will not allow it to be New Zealand. We will not allow extremist ideologies of any kind to take seed within New Zealand. We will come together, and as a community, we will grieve together, not just with our brothers and sisters in Islam, but our brothers and sisters in humanity and our brothers and sisters in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Again, I would just like to reiterate that all of our prayers and thoughts are those who have been directly impacted, and for everybody else who is feeling scared, who is impacted in any way, shape or form. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps us all safe, that He continues to bless Aotearoa, New Zealand, and that He continues to bless everybody in this great, beautiful nation. I would also like to thank all of the emergency service responders for running into danger and threat as everybody else ran the other way. Your brave action also speaks volume that we are all against. the heinous, cowardly, disgusting act that took place yesterday. And if anything, I am hopeful that we will stand stronger, more united. Kia ora.
Thank you, Fatuma. Yesterday, 15th of March, was a turning point for us to stay more united, more together, more for New Zealand. We'll take a short break when we hear the Auckland Choir play for us. Please turn around and say hello to your neighbour or your new friend that you can make today.
Sorry guys, there are people trying to get through. It would be the choir. If you could let them come through.
Well, kia ora everyone. My name is Rowan, we're the Auckland Street Choir. Delighted to be with you today. I just wish it could have been under better circumstances. We'd just like to sing a little song and invite you to sing it with us. It's called Stand By Me.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky will come, should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea. I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me, stand by me, stand by me, stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me.
Thank you so much. Yep.
As your security person, the people in the middle who are standing at the moment, is it possible for you guys to maybe take a seat? There are lots of people behind you, and it might help them see better if people are taking a seat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Today, community halls were open from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Because the mosques were closed yesterday, so the Auckland Council opened community halls where we could meet and have, chat with each other. So I popped into the Newland Community Centre. So this is an appreciation to the Auckland Council and the local boards. And amongst us is Mayor Phil Goff, who we'd like to call to the podium, please.
Tēnā koutou katoa, tēnā te mihi nui ki a koutou. Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon you. I've always seen that greeting as a poignant greeting, but never more than today when we mourn the lives of 49 innocent men, women and children gunned down in Christchurch yesterday. Last night I met with mosque leaders from across Auckland at the Avondale police station, and we said whatever we as a city and the police force can do to help, we will do to help. Today we gather here in solidarity with the families of the victims and the communities of the victims and Christchurch City. We are here to mourn, to grieve with them. We are here to send them our sympathy, our love and our support. Yesterday, as I watched these events unravel, I felt a sense of despair, of anger and of grief. But today, as I look out on this fantastic crowd, I feel a sense of hope that we can turn this tragedy into something that makes our country, our nation and our cities better. I think we're also here today to express our determination that we will not let our nation be defined by one sick and disgusting individual who did what he did yesterday. So today we gather together to reassert our faith and belief in a multicultural society. A society where diversity is seen as enrichment, not division. A nation in which all people are treated equal and with respect, and a country in which our children can grow up together, whatever their faith, their ethnicity or their background, in peace and in harmony and stability. I want today also for everyone here to express their commitment to zero tolerance to racism, to prejudice and to bigotry. For all of us to speak out when we hear another New Zealander talk in abusive and insulting terms about somebody else's race and about somebody else's faith. and a nation that tells those awful people, the alt-right people who came here from Canada last year, that they are not welcome in our country, as I did last year. So today, finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to support and embrace our Muslim brothers and sisters, all of our faiths and all of our communities, and to say to the Muslim community that you are us and we are you. We stand together, we are one and the same, we share the same values, and we will fight and fight again to stop the disgusting thing that happened in Christchurch ever occurring in our nation again. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. I'd like to call upon Honourable Minister Carmel Sepuloni, Minister for Social Development, representing the coalition government today. So present on the dais is Honourable Carmel Sepuloni, Honourable Phil Twyford.
Hello everybody. Salam alaikum. Peace be with you all. Can I begin by thanking the Kathisha community and network for bringing us all together. I think it's an incredible act of generosity just one day after this terrible tragedy that the Muslim community is bringing us together, and I thank you for it. We're here because of a terrible trauma, a hateful act of violence, and I think we're all reeling from it. There's a sense of disbelief, I think, amongst all of us. We've gathered here to pay our respects to those who were murdered in this calculated act of terrorism, to reach out to those who've been directly affected, who will be so stricken with grief, and to share our own grief. We want to be together and to display our love for each other. We're also here because we want to send a message to all New Zealanders and to the billions of people that we share our planet with. Women and men, young and old, in New Zealand, we are a people of all faiths. Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Buddhism, Judaism, Shintoism, to name but a few. It's great to see the interfaith organisations here celebrating that truth, because our country really is for all of those religious faiths and for those who have no religion. We're here for Kiwis who've been here for decades or generations, or born here, who arrived last week. We are one people. We are not a perfect country, but we are a caring and liberal country. We are a tolerant country. We are a tolerant country, not a hateful one, but we will not tolerate extremism, and all MP for close on 17 years. In that time as a country, we've dealt with the Canterbury earthquakes, 185 lives lost. The Pike River mine disaster was 29. Those were tragedies, as is every road death and every serious crime. But this was an atrocity. A hate-filled, murderous atrocity. And how we respond as others have said, I'm sure others will say again, will both reflect and define who we are. All of the religions that I mentioned share what is called the Golden Rule. And that value is deeply embedded in the New Zealand culture. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We are a good country. This atrocity will shape us, but I believe that it will not substantially change us. We abhor the atrocity, but we are not here to express hatred. Anger, yes. Feelings of betrayal, yes, but not hatred. We are here to show compassion, strength, determination, and love. There will be many reflections and no doubt investigations into what has occurred. The Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, would love to have been here today with her people, but of course she has to be in Christchurch. She's already announced that we're going to ban semi-automatic weapons. They have no place in civil society. David Fisher in the New Zealand Herald today said we must ask ourselves why hate-filled groups have sprung up across Western nations. I agree, but I would not limit that to Western nations. I'm your Attorney General and I have responsibilities to protect your civil liberties or to help do so. There is a dimming of enlightenment in many parts of the world. Intolerance has risen. We must, as a society, look to causes of extreme views and behaviours. Some are complex, others are obvious. How can it be right for this atrocity, filmed by the murderer using a GoPro, was live streamed across the world by the social media companies? How can that be right? Who should be held accountable for that? Now, these are issues for the future, though you may be assured that we will address them. Today is for grief. We express our heartfelt condolences for all who have lost their dearly loved ones, their partner, their child, their parent, their brother, perhaps their sister, their friend. Assalamu alaikum.
Kia ora koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou, assalamu alaikum. Just before I begin, I want to thank the Honourable Carmel Sepuloni, Minister of Social Development. She's passed her speaking opportunity on to me. My name is Priyanka Radhakrishnan and I'm a Labour MP. I have no words strong enough to condemn the act of violence that we have all been witness to. The act of terrorism and the hatred that that act of violence was based on. Violence that has taken so many lives, left so many injured, and rocked our communities across Aotearoa. We are a strong, proud nation of over 200 ethnic communities. Collectively, we speak over 160 languages. We are strong as a nation because of that diversity and not in spite of it. We cannot and must not let this act of terrorism divide us. We must stand strong together to fight the hatred, the xenophobia, and the racism and the extremism that has led to it. We might look different. We might speak different languages, belong to different faiths, dress differently, but we are all New Zealanders and this is our home. They are us and we are them. My thoughts, prayers, and love go to the families who have had their loved ones taken from them, those who were injured in Christchurch Hospital, all our Muslim brothers and sisters in Aotearoa and across the world, everyone in Christchurch, anyone from any community who has at any point been made to feel like the other. My thoughts, prayers, and love are with everyone across communities in Aotearoa who has been affected by this. As the Mayor Philgoff said, I too have hope in seeing you all here, standing together to fight this hatred, and let's keep doing that. Let's keep fighting that hatred, that xenophobia, and that vile violence that we've seen that has rocked our nation this week. No reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa, thank you.
Thank you very much. We have here amongst us Mr. Bikubana. He's of the New Zealand Indian Central Association, but in this tragedy, shall we say, mass killing, he's lost somebody.
Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa, salam alaikum. Today is a very dark day for Christchurch. It's a dark day for New Zealand. It's a dark day for the world. Yesterday, there was a young father who conscientiously would go to the masjid at Hagley Park every Friday. His 3 young children will never see their dad again. His widowed mother will never see her son again. It hurts me because as a youngster, as a toddler, I played with the young boy and I enjoyed his company. His father and I were brothers. My father and his grandfather were partnerships in business. My grandfather and their great-grandfather were amongst the first Indians to settle in Christchurch over 100 years ago. And we have stayed as family. Under God's eyes, irrespective of our age, our colour, our creed, our faith or agenda, we are all one. He was Muslim, I am Hindu. And we will stay as family for the next 100 years plus. I can understand the grief, the anger, the hatred amongst everyone today. I can fully understand it. However, today and going forward is a day to be calm. The ethos going forward should be non-violence. Non-violence. We need to love our brothers and sisters irrespective of their background. And I know as a New Zealander we will, and we will do it well. I'm sorry I can't say any more. I am very hurt. Thank you very much.
New Zealand cannot thank the services that were in Christchurch yesterday, especially the New Zealand police. Today we have with us District Commander Waitemata, Superintendent Naila Hassan, together with the Federation of Islamic Associations Secretary, Brother Ibrar, and the President of the New Zealand Muslim Association, Brother Itlaq. Please welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace and blessings be upon you. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Rabbul Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu Allah, ashrafil umbaya wal muslim. Sayyidina Muhammadu wa ala alihi wa sahabihi ajma'in. Wa ma alayna illa balagu mubin. Greetings to everyone here to support this event, and particularly greetings to my brothers and sisters. I am a proud Muslim and a leader in the New Zealand Police. I am horrified, as are all my colleagues in the New Zealand Police, around the events in Christchurch yesterday. I know this is a very, very distressing time for our Muslim community in particular, but to everyone in our communities. In New Zealand and also right around the world. We want to reassure you, we are doing everything we can to ensure victims of this devastating attack are treated with the utmost respect. We are working with the Muslim community and community leaders to provide us as much support. To everyone affected by this tragedy, you will have seen an increased police presence in Christchurch, in Auckland, and in fact nationwide, particularly around our mosques and Islamic centres. This is a precautionary measure to ensure the safety of not only our brothers and sisters, but for our communities all around New Zealand. I wish to reiterate the message: if you see anything at all suspicious, please call 111. Do not hesitate. I want our Muslim community in particular to know, and the people of Christchurch to know, that we stand with you and we all share in your grief and in your pain. We, the New Zealand Police, will do everything we can to support our wider community and in particular our Muslim communities. Inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم Kia ora Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. It is actually a very sad moment in a way that we have gathered here as a big, large community, but the reason or the actions that drove us here aren't that great. But what I take from this is New Zealand community, irrespective of their religion, their culture, their creed, whatever background they came from, they've all come together and supported us. I just wanted to briefly I must have probably received thousands of emails and phone calls in the last 30 hours I know I haven't responded to all of them, probably vast majority of them I haven't even answered. I just want you to know that we appreciate that, and I wasn't able to answer them and we weren't able to respond to them. Inshallah, God willing, we will respond to the emails that I received in due course. But I just want you to know we really appreciate all the effort, all the wishes that you have sent. I just want to also talk about New Zealand Police, how they mobilise themselves in support of the community was absolutely amazing. I just want to say thank you to the parliamentarian and MPs that rang me even late last night. We were just having discussions what needs to be done for the community. And I really appreciate that, and that is really much appreciated from the community. Let me actually give a message to those haters. You're not going to scare us. You're not going to frighten us. We are New Zealanders. We will stand together. And if anybody is isolated, it's you, the haters. We will overcome the hate with the love and the compassion that our religion and our nation treats us. So all I ask is, please, I know emotions are running really high, especially in our community. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration. I again keep urging to all community members and all New Zealanders, please use your head before you do any actions, because we need to make sure we do not respond to those haters with hate. We can only respond to them the best way we can is through love. And we should pray for them because they are obviously unhappy, they're unwell. Nobody in there who is normal will do an act like what they did. That is not normal. Nobody can tell me that's normal. They have problems and we pray for them. We pray, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them overcome that anger, help them overcome that hate, and bring love into their hearts, into their families, into communities, into New Zealand and the globe. Jazakallahu khair.
Jazakallah, okay. We have the New Zealand National Party members here. Kanwal G. Bakshi, Simon O'Connor, Nikki Kay, Dr. Paramjit Parmar, Jen Yang, Dan Bidua, and Chris Bank.
Assalamu alaikum. Yesterday, we lost 49 innocent Kiwis who have to belong to Muslim faith, but they were Kiwis who chose New Zealand as their home. We welcomed them with open arms, but what happened yesterday will be remembered as a black day, and in New Zealand history, I hope, I pray that it doesn't happen again. I'm joined with my National Party colleagues and our leader, Honorable Simon Bridges, who is in Christchurch with other national MPs to support the community over there. What a clerk just mentioned, that we will not respond with hate. And as Mahatma Gandhi said, an eye for eye will make whole world blind. We don't want that happening in New Zealand. Everyone who came to New Zealand thinking of this, that this is a peace-loving country. New Zealand is a peace-loving country. What has happened yesterday, it was yesterday. But today, we have to make a pledge that we are going to support those 49 families in every manner, that they still feel they haven't lost anyone, but everyone is looking after them. That is the most important thing. And I hope we all together will make sure that we will support those 49 families who have lost their loved ones. Once again, I pray to Almighty that made this country once again the most peaceful country, and we continue to live in harmony. We don't want to see any kind of racism or hatred amongst us. The only thing we want is peace and love for each other. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to thank the community for coming together and giving us the opportunity to mourn together. Thank you to each and every one of you for making this opportunity for all of us to come together. I want to pass on my heartfelt condolences to the families of those 49 people. Yesterday when I saw the headline of people injured in Christchurch, this was beyond my imagination what actually happened. The first thought that came to my mind when I just saw that headline was that there was another big earthquake in Christchurch. Because this kind of incident has been beyond our imagination. And it took a while for me to come to terms that it has actually happened. And since last night and this morning, I've been calling several community leaders, Muslim leaders within the community, and have been talking to them. And I'm seeing clearly that everybody is still coming to terms that this has actually happened, coming to the grips of this whole incident. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a time to look after each other, to support each other. This is a time for love and compassion. And I can see there are mixed feelings amongst us. That is of course, support, standing united, mixed with anger. But this is also time to actually prioritize our things. And in my view, the priority is to provide all the support that we can to the families in Christchurch and communities all around New Zealand. So this incident cannot let us divide. I'm an immigrant, and I call New Zealand my home. This attack, in my view, was not on one community because it could have happened on any other migrant community. It was an attack on New Zealanders, and we will not let this incident divide us because our values of being Kiwis, that is, of respect for each other, respect for our nation, of equal opportunities, of respecting various multicultural communities. These values are bigger than that incident. Yes, our heart wants to believe that this was a one-off incident, but we can't be complacent because New Zealand that we love, we feel, is no longer the same. And of course, we have to step up our security, but that is the discussion that will happen after we finish mourning and providing the support to families in Christchurch. So my final message to you all is, number one, this is a time for love and compassion, to stand with each other, stand together. And my second message that I want to pass on to you in a very strong voice is that please do not circulate that live stream video that was being circulated on various social media channels. I have been, even from overseas, told that that video is being circulated on several groups. So if you see that video, please delete that immediately, because that was what that individual wanted, and we don't want to support him in that act. So, ladies and gentlemen, we all are together in this.
Assalamu alaikum. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Firstly, many hearts broke in our beautiful, peaceful nation last night. So our thoughts are with those people who have lost loved ones, but also those that are injured, and the many medical professionals, the doctors, the nurses that are literally fighting for their lives. Our thoughts are with you. Can we acknowledge the New Zealand Police and all of our medical professionals for the amazing work that you do to keep Kiwis safe? We echo and we stand here alongside all members of parliament from different political parties to say, we will be stronger as a nation as a result of this. We will not let hate win. We will let love win and peace win, because that is what New Zealand stands for and that is who we are. Can I acknowledge the Honourable Phil Goff's comments? We need a zero tolerance around racism and bigotry. Can I finish by just acknowledging that the world is watching, and what we want the world to know is that this is not who New Zealand is. We are a peaceful, loving nation, and the ripple effect will be huge across the world, because we are a great country that does not stand for this, and we will be stronger and more united, and we will wrap our arms of love around other New Zealanders to send a very strong message that hate will not win. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora, thank you. We have Waivon, who's come from Manurewa, with a little message.
Hi, I actually wasn't expecting to give this message, so I apologise. I was just completely devastated as the rest of the country was, and the rest of the world was, with what happened yesterday. And I couldn't think of anything that I could do to help, apart from obviously donate to the Give a Little page. So we made, me and my partner, I'm a nurse, my partner's a police officer. We weren't working yesterday, we're obviously up here. But we made these little badges, green and black. Green for Islam and black for mourning. And in the hope that if they was to sell, they could make money for the community that's affected. That's really needed at this time.
Sorry everyone, I wasn't trying to hog the space. I was just offering support. If you'd like to grab one of these, they will be available up here. They're trying to raise money, so if you want to take a badge and just put your koha in here.
I'd like to now call Maramba Davidson, Green Party Deputy Leader, and Goloriz Gaharama.
One of the immediate things that we have to change is that we cannot be leaders and show vulnerable human emotion at the same time. My name is Marama Davidson, and I am the co-leader of the Green Party of Aotearoa, New Zealand. He mihi aroha, he mihi hohonu, kia koutou. Your entire Muslim communities, the city of Christchurch, and everyone who is hurting. Manaki and tika, caring for each other in a way that is just and right, is what we should be upholding with every inch of ourselves. Upholding my mana, my dignity, is connected to upholding your mana, your dignity. I am as passionate about the well-being of your children as I am about making sure my children are okay and have everything they need. These are the values that we should be demonstrating with every second of our walk. This spirit of connection is how we will stay together and bring everyone with us. We also have to tell the truth. New Zealand was founded on the theft of land and language and identity and mana of tangata whenua. Here in Tāmaki Makaurau, this very land we are standing on is land that tangata whenua were violently removed from to uphold the same agenda that killed the people in the mosque yesterday. I acknowledge today the hatred that everyone has fallen to. Understanding each other's history, our hate speech, our Indigenous and Tauiwi communities. We will not minimise this racism and bigotry. We will not ignore that your sons and daughters have been the targets of our surveillance rather than our protection. We will connect the dots so that people understand that all the oppressions that bring us down for being gay, for being transgender, for being a person of colour, for being a woman in power, for being who we are connected and depend on each other to draw breath from the same oxygen that takes us all down. We have to own our own nation's historic and modern racism and violence if we are to truly fix things. And we will continue to hold up your loving, peaceful families and communities for who you really are. We will continue to celebrate your histories and your stories. As politicians, we have a responsibility to not only extend our aroha and thoughts and prayers, but put forward bold, productive policy and changes to ensure this does not happen again. And we will grieve, not just because you are one of us, but because you are you. Kia ora.
E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā karangatanga maha, tēnā koutou katoa. Our nation's heart is broken. My heart is broken today. But from the bottom of my Kiwi, refugee, migrant, woman of colour, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for being on the right side of history today. Here. It matters to our communities. We are hurt. We are in shock. And we are scared. They want us dead. Our nanas, our granddads, our mums and dads, our little kids. We lived that yesterday. But for some of us, was possible. We had escaped oppression of the worst kind, torture, we'd seen a war. That is what refugees are made of. So we weren't sent back. We were welcomed here. And I remember now, and I remember